The UC president wants UCLA athletics to pay Cal $10 million a year. LAFC finally addresses the talent drain in its front office, and a Lakers legend tries open mic comedy by pitching LeBron James for head coach. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos morning report. And so it is May 10th, 2024. Welcome back to the sanctum sanctorum of LA sports. By the time you get this clip, I'm going to be on a plane heading back east for work, which of course sucks for me. But we're going to be happy in the meantime and talk LA sports. If you'd like being in the know about LA, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist, and by all means comment. Now, before we go through the news and notes, a look at the scoreboard. There weren't any games involving LA teams yesterday, but today, the Dodgers are at Slime Diego at 640. Tyler Glasnow is 6-1 with a 2.70 ERA. Michael King is 3-3 with a 4.29 ERA. And since we've got a lot to talk about, what do you say we get to the news? The LA Times last night has reported that the president of the UC system wants UCLA athletics to pay UC Berkeley $10 million per year until 2030 for leaving the Pac-12 conference. Now, the Bruins abandoning that sinking ship left the Golden Bears scrambling for a new conference because the Pac-10 frankly started crumbling like a Nazi villain at the end of an Indiana Jones movie. And of course, because this move is obviously political in nature, politicians have to dress it up with a dopey name that they hope will sell amongst the masses. They're calling it calimony. Hardy, har. Now look, if I'm UCLA about calimony, I do the following. Not pay it. Look, first of all, the UCLA athletic department has run almost $168 million in debt since 2019. So I'm guessing if there's one thing that the Bruins are really adept at, it's letting bills go to collections. So you can add as many 10 million little pink slips as you want. Doesn't mean it's going to get paid. Secondly, though, the UC president is conveniently forgetting how woefully mismanaged the Pac-12 was in the first place. Or should I say, instead of the Pac-12, the Pac-10, and then all the way reduced down to the Pac-2. A lot of schools started to abandon the Pac-12 when they realized just how poorly it was being run. Among numerous mistakes, and trust me, they are legion, the conference made with regards to media deals, the conference muckety-mucks got greedy with ESPN. ESPN was offering them $30 million per school. They asked for $50 million per school, and the network understandably told them to buzz off. Finally, Cal did wind up joining a conference. They're not exactly orphans out there. They joined the ACC. There is a media deal in place for the Golden Bears. Now, it's not as much as it would have been, but that's not the fault of UCLA. That is not the fault of UCLA. It's because the Pac-12 got selfish. USC simply recognized the foolishness in the offices of the Pac-12 first, and then tossed a life preserver to UCLA, which was drowning in debt. If UCLA had directly harmed UC Berkeley, asking for calimony would make more sense. But they didn't. The Pac-12 is the organization that harmed every school in that conference. Now look, there's going to be more to the story, but if I am UCLA, I remind the UC president and everybody in the UC board that the bylaws specifically state each school's athletic department has autonomy to make their own financial decisions, which makes the UC president's recommendation simply an empty, face-saving political move. And that's the memo. Despite denials from the ardent LAFC Twitter mob, there has been a drain of talent both on and off the field for the black and gold in a little less than a year. We already know about the players who left. We talked about it during the offseason. Some of that could not be helped. The MLS pretty much has a harsh salary cap in place. But in order to stay competitive on the pitch, you need a front office capable of finding affordable talent across the globe. And not only that, a front office that is capable of looking into the future and seeing what holes you're going to have in the roster. Will Kuntz was one of those guys. Kuntz, as longtime LA soccer fans know, left LAFC last year to join the LA Galaxy. And in December, with scant little time after MLS Cup to replenish its roster, LAFC lost Director of Football Operations Marco Antonio Garces to a Spanish club. So throw all that into the blender, and what do you get? You get a club that went to back-to-back MLS Cup finals, and now they're just hovering around 500. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. Shocking to the Twitter mob who likes LAFC, not shocking to the rest of us who live in the real world. But LAFC, to their credit, have recognized they need to make a course correction. They made their first major decision to solve long-term roster issues by hiring Neil McGuinness away from the Columbus Crew. McGuinness served as the Crew's Director of Scouting. He will become the Black and Gold's technical director. Now, in layman's terms, that means he is the number 2 guy in the organization, reporting directly under co-president John Thorrington. McGuinness was part of a front office that won 2 MLS Cups, including last year against LAFC. The current version of the Crew also has reached CONCACAF Champions Cup final this year. Now, I hate Columbus as a city. It's a really dirty town. But I begrudgingly admit, the Crew play attractive winning soccer. The Crew are far prettier than the city it represents. But this matters. It absolutely matters, because LAFC's offseason looked a lot like what the Galaxy would do in the years before hiring Kuntz. The Galaxy would just ask agents, who's your big name free agent, and then go after that guy and try to use him as a way to sell jerseys. LAFC's big move so far was not for a young player with tremendous upside. Now that the Galaxy have Kuntz, the Galaxy did that. They did that with Joseph Painsil and Gabriel Peck. LAFC went the older, established veteran route. They signed a 37-year-old French legend, Olivier Giroud. Yesterday, by the way, The Athletic posted an article called European Free Agents Who Could Land in MLS. The Galaxy, again, having changed their focus away from older veterans, not linked to any of them. LAFC was linked to 3. So yeah, the idea of hiring McGuinness and returning to their roots and looking for younger talent with massive upside, yeah, that's actually a good idea. This could be a very good hire for LAFC. At what point do you stop holding reverence for a player who contributed to your favorite team? I think most of us would agree that O.J. Simpson set the gold standard for that, but maybe we should raise that standard a few layers, right? I bring this up because Byron Scott, shooting guard for the Showtime Lakers, has now suggested that LeBron James should be the Lakers head coach. He went on Fox Sports' Hot Take Festival, Undisputed, and I confess I don't watch the show because I don't want to look at Skip Leatherface Bayless. But the transcript of Scott's interview included this little quote, and actually it's a long quote, so bear with me. Quote from Scott: "Listen, I got nothing but love and respect for LeBron, but it's obvious to me at least that he's making a lot of decisions that's going on in this organization from a coaching standpoint to a player standpoint. So if you're going to allow him to make those decisions, all right, sit on the bench and make those decisions as well as be a head coach. You obviously have to find someone who LeBron is comfortable with from a head coaching standpoint. Well, now they've got the last name I heard was JJ Redick, and I started laughing. Well, now they got a podcast together. So y'all are comfortable. Y'all are buddy-buddy. So now his name is on the list. As far as I'm concerned, the only person he's really going to trust is himself. Since you're making a lot of these decisions anyway, why not put LeBron in the hot seat, unquote. Now, obviously Scott, who is a failure as a Lakers coach, I might add, is clearly trying out material for an open mic at the Laugh Factory. And that's the problem with these hot take shows like First Take and Undisputed. They're not opinions to be taken seriously. They're simply something for you to have around the water cooler, and then you don't get taken seriously either. Much like a comedy club, there should be a 2-drink minimum before watching anything that Skip Bayless is a part of. But with material like that, Scott would get pulled from an open mic stage faster than when he coached the Lakers to that 48-point ass beating by Utah back in 2016. He is in no position. Byron Scott is in no position to judge coaching. The biggest accomplishment that Byron Scott ever had as a head coach was to let Jason Kidd run the offense to lead the New Jersey Nets to the finals, and then the Nets got mollywopped by the Kobe Shaq Lakers. So if you see Byron Scott at the Melrose Improv, feel free to boo him off stage. Just like the night he got booed off the court when he shot 5 of 14 against the Celtics in the 1985 finals. Continuing a trend of one correct move after another, the Rams have traded wide receiver Ben Skowronek to Houston as part of a draft pick swap for next year. The team swapped 2025 6th-round picks, and LA is going to get a 7th rounder for Skowronek, who was a team captain last year. But frankly, so what? Ben Skowronek is a wide receiver who can't catch. That's a problem, guys. It's actually in the job description. Can you catch a football? Last year, Ben Skowronek caught just 8 passes. He spent most of his time on special teams. And oh, by the way, if you remember the Rams from last year, their special teams were terrible. In my opinion, Skowronek gained fan support because in 2022, he would also go from wide receiver, he would line up at fullback, and he was perfectly willing to stick his nose in and block for the running game, which is great for him and great for the Rams. But the 2022 Rams had just 5 wins. So how valuable is he really? Not much. The Rams save a little more than $800K, and Skowronek gets a second shot at becoming an NFL wide receiver. So best of luck down in Houston. USC football has hired a longtime NFL offensive coach to analyze the defense. Jim Hostler has coached in the NFL for 20 years, most prominently as San Francisco's offensive coordinator. He was an analyst last year for Detroit. He's also coached quarterbacks, wide receivers, and tight ends. The role is obviously undefined, but it sounds like off the top of my head that he's probably going to be a sounding board for the defensive staff to bounce ideas off of. So be it. Memo to both the football and athletic departments of USC and UCLA. Stop referencing Kendrick Lamar and Drake. Cut it out. The 2 football programs traded barbs on X, which heavily referenced the resurfaced hip-hop beef. Again, stop it. Stop it. You guys are representing institutes of higher learning. When Kendrick says they not like us, your correct response should not be to post it with highlight reels and barb UCLA or vice versa. You should respond with, ahem, you mean they are not like us. You guys are there to play fundamentally sound football, not act like Biggie and Tupac. Cut it out. We, the fans, we're the ones who are supposed to use broken English. We're the ones who are the drunken louts. You guys are supposed to be our intellectual future. Act accordingly. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. What would you do if you're UCLA with this surprise $10 million bill? And has LAFC finally righted the ship by addressing its front office. And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Corte El Queso production. Take care.